Hello, everyone. Welcome to Y.E.A.S.T, your energetic, authentic self today. This is Hope.
This is Joy.
This is Sheila.
Hey, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Much better.
Pretty good, much better. So what was going on?
Well, before I get to myself, Sheila, how are you doing? I answered very quick.
No, that's fine. You jumped in there before I did. I'm doing well. No complaints.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. I wanted to share today that I probably went through the toughest time in a long life. I mean, as I look back in 20 years, I probably never experienced such level of stress on the, in the personal space.
Wow. I'm interested in knowing more.
Yeah, especially 20 years of not.
I know.
What's going on? What happened?
Well, I'm married for 21 years. Michael is really good at taking care of me, my family, and houses, right? And he actually got injured from a basketball game 4 weeks ago. And it was so bad that, we actually had to see the specialist, in the urgent matter, then had a surgery arranged right after that next day. And the whole thing would just happened without planning, you did not
You mean
prepare.
you can planning a injury? Okay, all right.
Well, I'm a planner. Both of you know that.
Yes, we know that.
And it also happened at the time that I have a whole thing planned, build a patio and attend the orientation for Max for his college. He is becoming a freshman. It's a big deal. We planned that for 3 months. We particularly picked those 2 days because I want to be ready and everything. I clear the calendar, get ready for it. And now the surgery is happening on the same day, same time as the morning session of the orientation, which is most important part of it. I really feel like so overwhelmed, like feeling like, what do I do? What do I do? And I feel my head was 3 times bigger.
Well, it makes
That's
sense
a
that
lot.
you feel overwhelmed because, as you just indicated, we've talked before, you are a planner, so therefore things did not go according to plan. Boom, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah. Not to mention Sunday, where we visit the urgent care, right? Sunday actually is my second son's birthday. And his only wish was to eat homemade birthday cake. And we came back from urgent care. Says, okay, what do I do now? I made a birthday cake for the
very first time.
For the first time in my life.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did that feel?
Well, first felt very stressful. Like I feel pressure to do that. That's the only right thing to do for the little boy. But I was so distracted. Then eventually, like, hey, let's work together. Michael was giving direction and reading off the recipe. Grandma, actually baked the cake when we visit the urgent care. So came back, I was doing the decoration part, put them all together, made the cream, and Alex's brother actually chimed in and designed the top of the cake. Eventually, actually looks pretty nice. And it also feel, tastes really well. Maybe there's so much love put in that one single cake. It's a learning process. It's a huge learning process for myself too.
So when you
That
say
is a lot.
learning process, are you, how likely is it you're referring to making the cake or the learning process of when things don't go according to plan, how to shift, how to pivot?
Actually, I think they're both of them, Sheila. Literally is a learning process. I made the cake. I learned how to use a drill. I learned how to nail things and use it. I also put up the umbrella, the whole thing, right? A lot of assembly, and the patio furniture came after the patio was done. And I think one Saturday I spent 3 hours learning using the tools and get things ready and put them all together ready to use. I feel like, wow, I didn't know I can do that.
Who said
So-
women cannot be handyman?
I feel like literally a lot of learning happened. And even driving Alex to the swimming lessons, which I probably only did once or twice in the last couple of years. And now like going back to the full process and knowing the details, literally there's a learning process. And also mentally, it's really under such a pressure, right? How do you organize your life? When the whole plan is just shattered, how do you get back on track or actually create a new track?
So how did you do that?
I was just about to ask that.
I didn't think I knew how to do that, but one thing I tried, it helped me actually, review everything on my calendar and not to do, things that not so important, right? Reschedule and decline. A lot of things got shifted. A very important thing, and figure out how to handle that. Work is really important for me when all the things are happening. I actually quickly work with my leaders, my team, like, okay, something is happening. I cannot be there. They were very empathetic and supporting me in a big way. That really helps.
So what I heard is relentlessly prioritization, which
Yeah.
is also needed at work.
Yeah, prioritizing them. Now also learning from the empathy perspective. I think we all talk about empathy, but how much empathy do we have? I don't know. I think I am trying to think in others' shoes, but this level of empathy, like I going through that, now I know how hard it will be for other people. For example, when Michael was in surgery, I was sitting in the waiting room. I felt like the world is shattering around me. Like, come on, I know it's not like a life-threatening situation, right? But I felt like, oh my God, it feels so lonely and so scary. I did not know what to do. I just feel like there are a million things in your mind. You don't even know what are those. Now I feel like, wow, in the future, if somebody, their family member, are in the medical situation, I probably can start feeling what they feel in those situations. I never did. I never did. So it's a lot, just reprocess that back to you. It's still a lot.
So you talk about it being a lot
Mhm.
for you in the process. What feedback, if any, did you get from your kids with you helping to bake a cake,
Mhm.
taking your son to swim lessons, all of that? Because it sounds like that's not something you typically
Yeah.
get involved in.
Well, one thing is spending more time with them, right? That's one. And two, I think both of them become more independent and they start taking care of each other. In this situation, I think a family come together and do what they can to support each other. My older son Max is older, right? Max took Alex out for trips, for the first time ever. He has been driving for a couple of years, and now I said, Mom, I'll take my brother out and, just get a lunch and get a cup of tea. It's really, really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate them being more independent. And I think they also see like, wow, dad is really, really important. Now we all suffer when when he's in the situation. So a lot of appreciation for sure.
So to summarize, Joy, through this experience, there's a lot of learnings. Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty, overwhelming, and really asking for help, and that's element as well. But I felt there's a lot of learning to really prioritize first things first, what's important to my family right now, and got support from everybody surrounding you, your family, your coworkers. And the other thing is, I felt that you probably also learned something that you never believed you can do, using a power drill and doing some of the other things you have never done. So through this experience, what do you feel from wellness point of view? If we talk about August is the wellness month, which would include physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, whatever you call that wellness, the whole spectrum of wellness. What would you say about this experience?
Wow, I think I do have a couple ideas. First, really, echo back to what you said, ask for help. I spoke openly with, at work, so they know the situation and they can actually really help me. Otherwise, who would know? And asking for help because I have coaches like you ladies, and I also have my own therapist I can talk to, just process information and getting back on track, and asking friends and neighbors, when I really need help. I'm not trying to do everything myself. It's a learning process, but I also ask for a lot of help. So really asking for help. Don't really never thought you will be on your own. Sometimes it may feel that way. I experienced the loneliness, and then actually one sister from the church magically showed up in the waiting room and sitting with me for that about an hour of the time. Really asking for help. There will be a lot of people are waiting to help you. That's one. Two, waiting to let go things, because in this situation, there's not everything is equally important. Be willing to let go of things. Don't worry about disappointing others. At this time, most important thing is take care of yourself, take care of your family, and then figure out the rest. There are situations I could easily like, oh, if I don't do that, if I don't go there, would people be unhappy? No, actually, sometimes if you suffer and force yourself to do things, you actually make other people feel bad. Like, hey, I don't know, you're in this situation. You don't have to do this. So let go of certain thing, that's not on the top of priority list, and let it go. And three, really taking care of yourself. I would say I had days that I forced myself, to show up certain way, to do certain thing, but it doesn't work out that way. We all study energy. The only moment you will be best is you take care of yourself. Then the world around you will fall into places. That's what happened to me. That first week of really struggling, like you don't even know how to take care, like it just everything is like a hairball. Then I start sitting down, like, okay, what is happening? What's more important? I think the second week was really like a priority, reshuffle things. And then finally, you can take a deep breath. And I found myself back, and I feel like if I could, build a mental image, it will be like, the universe, all the matters would just, with all the directions and fast speed, and you don't think you can capture anything, and so much, and it's going on. Eventually, when you start, feeling the peace coming out of you, and then the world around you will come from one direction and with a nice flow, and then the world is back to you. So, at least those are three things, right? Asking for help, absolutely ask for help, and your wellness is really important. And you have friends and family and coworkers to rely on, coaches, therapists included, And 2, let go of things. And 3 is really take care of yourself. I'm sure there are other things, I'm a planner. I have something particular to myself, but really writing down and talking to people, that's probably already included in the first 3 things I mentioned. But this is a time that, rely on your community you build for yourself.
Great
So,
advice.
thank you. Mm-hmm.
And thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Shayla, do you want to add anything that you're doing in this August specifically for wellness? Anything you would like to share?
I would say I'm drinking a lot, but that doesn't probably go to wellness. No. That's a joke.
Well, if you're drinking water, I think
No,
so.
No, no. I'm joking. I'm not drinking a lot. I don't want our listeners to think that. For me, and I think we've talked about this before, it goes to Joy's point. Oftentimes, we may think it's selfish to focus on ourselves, take time for ourselves, because we have so many other things going on, spouses, children, work, all of that. So for me, there are moments in time when I will focus on what I believe is most important to me for wellness. If it's as simple as telling my husband, no, I'm not going to spend time with you. I want to go spend several hours reading, meditating. I love running. I enjoy fishing. My husband, I'll say through my encouragement, we talked about regret. I now have one regret, and that was encouraging my husband to get into golf. He's in it, enjoys doing it, can't stop talking about it. Everything's golf. And there's other stuff I want to do. So there are those moments for my own wellness where I'm like, time out. I'm not going golfing this Sunday morning. I'm going fishing, or whatever that looks like. So being okay, and it's taken me a while to get there with saying no
Yeah.
to this point, and being what others may call selfish, but it's really allowing time for myself and those things that I know are important to me, and go to my mental, physical, spiritual, overall well-being.
That's
really
well said, Shayla. I think, especially for you and I who used to be single mother, it's really hard to take care of ourselves because there's millions of other things waiting for us. So that's important. I would also like to share something that I'm doing for wellness. So I try to exercise every single day, and I try to read every single day. In the morning when I got up, I would have some time for myself, whether it means to read, to spend some quiet time before dive into work. And even though I'm not religious, but I am really spiritual, I understand what's going on with other people. I feel saddened when I heard Joy's life circumstances. And as Joy mentioned, that's how we learn to be more empathetic. Sometimes it's really hard to imagine other people's life. Had we not had similar experiences, it's just easier to imagine what other people going through. So I'm hoping that our experiences can continue teach us lessons that we can apply to either our life or other people's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It starts with sharing.
So sisters, anything else before we close?
Nothing else. I just once again want to thank Joy for sharing with us, particularly her experiences and the advice she has, the lessons she learned from those experiences as well.
Happy to share.
All right. Thank you very much for listening to us today. This is Y.E.A.S.T, your energetic, authentic self today. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.